staying awake and alert. Thank you for that. So now we're moving on to module number 7, and this is managing performance with logic model, and this is on page 95. I'm not going to be focusing too much on the training module right now. I'm mostly going to be focusing on everything that we have been doing. I'll go ahead and read the learning objectives, but really what I want you guys to gather out of this is the process that we've been using in developing the Roma model, and where did it come from, who are the government bodies that are asking us for this information, and why is it so important for us to be able to develop something like this in order for us to be able to meet our obligations to the funding sources. And that's our responsibility, to be able to report and be accountable for the monies that we get. So I'll go ahead and get started with the learning objectives, and for this time I'll go ahead and read them myself. Participants will learn how to construct and use a Roma logic model. Participants will identify short, intermediate, and long-term outcomes on logic models and how these relate to scale. Participants will understand how analysis of data in a logic model can lead to improved program management and decision making. Participants will understand how logic models can assist in the testing process or targeting process. And then participants compare the features of e-logic model to traditional logic models. And I said I won't be using the book that much because I want to get us to focus on what it is that we have been doing all day. So this morning we begun our session with introductions, and we got to know each other, and we identified, we ourselves became a community, and we all came together and we identified a need and a mission, and we're trying to drive that right now. So at the beginning we started with who we are with the decades and going over my life, the CAP agency, and the world, and what events have been happening throughout history that are basically driving us in a direction, and that direction talks about anti-poverty. That's the goal, that's the mission. And with that mission in hand, the government has given certain entities monies to go ahead and take on the task of fighting poverty. And we are one of those agencies. And the Roma model is a tool that is being used in order to more effectively deliver that service to our target population. So I'm going to ask for volunteers. What is the number one thing and step number 1 in developing our Roma logic model? And where did we start? With the mission, and that's the foundation, because what it has 4 elements, and those 4 elements are, if somebody can remember, it has a population,
Outcome.
it has outcome, services,
And
relationships. So those elements need to be included in that, because we as an organization, as a group, as a community, are looking for that need, and we're going to try to find a resolution to that need. And that mission is to eliminate the causes of poverty in partnerships with other human services providers by strengthening low-income individual families and communities through self-sufficient initiatives in El Paso County. So this is our mission. And here, this is a mouthful, but it gives you a gigantic view of what it is that we're trying to endeavor into. But within this mission, we found one need that we wanted to target. And we could have multiple needs, and we could have multiple logic models within the Roma cycle in order for this organization to accomplish its mission. So we could have one logic model on top of another logic model on top of So, but for this intensive, the purposes of this is so that we can understand how it is that this tool is of value to us and how we can maximize our performance through the implementation of this. So once we've devised our mission, we identified that need. And the need that we ranked number one, and we took a survey, and we all ranked number one, number two, and number three, and we did that, right? And we determined that the one focus that we wanted to do was low-income individuals lack skills and tools for a better job opportunity. And we've identified that as family. And we identified that as one of the needs. And we've spoken about how the Roma model focuses on family, community, and agency. And this need is focusing on family. And then we've identified what the outcome or the desired outcome was. And that was individuals gain job skills so that they can get better employment. Now that we've identified that, we've also given ourselves a job. And that job is to enroll people, I guess, into our organization and also enroll them in classes for job skills and training. So that's what we decided that our mission was, and that's what our focus was going to be. The next one was the outcome indicator, and we determined that in order for us to be successful, we had to implement or develop a measuring tool. And we had Maricela go over talking about baseball and what was excellence. And excellence was considered over 30%, right? So in any other field or like schools, if a child brings you a report card with a 30, you don't see that as excellent. But that's why it's important for us to be able to look at what we're dealing with and what is our measure of excellence. And in this model, we've come to the conclusion that we're going to enroll 20 people into this program. We're going to provide them the training, and out of those 20, 10% is our target. We are wanting to get 10 people to graduate or gain those skills enough for them to get a better paying job. And we said that number is 50%. So for all intents and purposes, 50% is really like 100%. We've succeeded at our mission, right? So, and we've given ourselves a measuring tool also that gives us a time range. And we said that we're giving ourselves 6 months for those 10 individuals from the time that they come in. Some of them may come in January, February, March. The clock starts for them at the moment that they walk in through the door. Okay? And we've also stated that results are important because we need to report those to the state. So from columns 1 through 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is the other column within itself, we're focusing mostly on the process, the procedures, and so on. And then columns 6, 7, and 8, we're mostly focusing on the tools that we're going to be using in order for us to be able to process and report to the state and those governing bodies that are the oversight for CAP agencies. And we've decided what the tools for measurements we're going to be used. So everybody in the agency has tools, and those tools may be a sign-in sheet, they may be an application, they may be requirements in that application, also the tools that are going to be used, a computer, laptop, pencil, paper, and also along with that comes job duties and responsibilities. So which individuals are going to be giving which tools and what obligations will they have in order for them to perform their duties and in order for them to be able to intake these target population. Now the data source may be the individual or surveys that they take or the applications. And where do we capture all that information? We capture it in our CAP system or MIP for finance, surveys, WAP assessments. So they gather all these and they may just put it in one data system like the CAPSIS system. And that's where we're gonna be able to gather our reports. And then we also give each of our employees a time frame for them to report. So it may be a weekly for secretaries, might be a monthly for supervisors, and quarterly for managers. So, and everybody's given a timeline and a deadline for them to be able to report these outcomes. And of course, just to tie this all back to the tools that we've been using, we know that Roma is one of the tools that we use in order for us to be able to meet our objective, and how it is important for us to be able to use the tools that were developed by Mr. Drucker that asks 5 questions. What is our mission? Who is our customer? What does the customer value? And we also analyze these questions and saying that what we think that the customer value may not be realistic. We do need to do an interview or a survey and gather that data. And then what are our results and what is our plan? So and then we stated that the plan is the law. That's why it's important for us to plan. And here we still haven't even opened our doors. Here we are in the war room developing that plan so that we can deliver that service and accomplish our mission. And we've also looked at Regional Carter and the 7 questions. How many clients are you serving? Who are they? What services do you give them? What does it cost? And we didn't really cover too much about question 4, 6, and 7 because those mostly deal with finance. And I know that we do have 2 individuals here from finance, and they primary focus is on this, the cost of delivering those services. But everybody else, what does it cost per service delivered? What happens to the client as the results of the service? And what does it cost per outcome? And we've also reviewed the Roma cycle, and we've touched on that multiple times and how important it is for us to be able to know where we are on this cycle and the importance of us being able to continue moving within that cycle. If, for example, Marisela was talking that at any point in time, the outcome indicator might have been 10 out of 20, but come June, we've only enrolled 15, and we're required to modify that. So we've assessed the situation. What might have caused that? I have no idea. Maybe BMW opened a firm here in El Paso, and now we got individuals earning $50,000 to $60,000 a year just to put on an emblem on a vehicle, right? Like that's what individuals that working at Ford probably make, $50,000 to $60,000 just to put the Ford emblem on the truck or the car, whatever it is that they're manufacturing. And also so with the importance of us being able to identify where we are in the Roma cycle and the importance of us being able to move forward and modify as needed. And we've also identified the 6 national goals that were given to us as a tool by the Community Service Block Grant to identify who are we serving and why are we doing that. And we've identified these goals and stated that some of these goals are associated with family, community, and agency. And that is basically what Roma is, right? Results oriented. We're trying to be more of as concerned with what is our desired outcome, more so than how many services did we provide. And earlier in the training, we were talking about how important it was that we not focus on or get tunnel vision whenever it is that our job is to, okay, sign in, okay, I paid another bill, that I paid 3 bills or 6 bills or 8 bills on this day. That is not our primary focus. Our primary focus is that we look at the person, the individual, are they our target population? do they have a need, and is that need only the one that we're targeting? And if they have other needs, are we addressing those needs? Because we're not focusing on just that particular need. We are an agency that partners with community partners, and once they've identified, oh, this person doesn't only have a need for improved job skills, they also have a need for rental assistance or childcare or anything else that you might be able to come up with. All individuals have different needs at different times, and some of them may be doing excellent right now, and then all of a sudden the industry that they're working in shuts down and they move their manufacturing from to Juarez or another country. And now that person that was making $50,000 a year is now on the unemployment line. And now the job skills that he has, there's no industry in El Paso. So that happened to us not too long ago. Y'all can remember the people that were working in the manufacturing industry, that those manufacturing industry went to another country because they were able to manufacture those goods. Now we had individuals that were unemployed, and now we have a new industry in El Paso, which is customer service. That customer service is also available in another country that they can provide that at a cheaper cost, like for example India, who can answer phone calls from AT&T and provide the same customer service that we are offering here in El Paso. So we basically have to be reevaluating, reassessing those environmental factors, internal, external, that will allow us to refocus what our mission may be. Not changing the actual mission and not the target population, but maybe specific duties that we ourselves could do to improve the quality of life of the target population. With this tool that we've been covering all morning, there's also a logic model, or E-logic model, which it could be very it would be a great tool if there was something like right now. We've been going through this and we've been doing it with pen and paper and basically putting it all down on a piece of paper. But it's definitely worthwhile once it becomes a reality that all these modules, all the hard work and training and evaluating and input from individuals that will be developing this system or the software, that operators will be able to say, okay, I have this individual that needs education, housing, and this, and then there's a drop-down menu, and where are they at? And you go filling it out, and all of a sudden, you have a logic model for each of those categories. You've done an intake. You've been able to gather data from that individual, and you now have that to be able to be reporting to the state. So that's something that's really near to being an actual thing. I know that that's the primary focus on Roma and on the implementation of this into all CAP agencies. Does anybody have any questions or concerns about the Roma model and logic models and any other questions that you might have? Does everybody have a great understanding of this now? I know it's a lot to take into, especially with a one-day training, but I hope that everybody got some valuable information. I know that Daniel, or we have an exercise too.
We have an exercise.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and start the next